Well, hello and welcome again to another episode of the Voyage of Empowerment teaser series with our special guest, Martha Forlines, who is here. She's hidden. She's in the green room right now. I swear she's here. But today we are ready. We are ready to talk about the Voyage of Empowerment. We're ready to share exciting things about our next speaker and sponsor for the conference. And I have to tell you, I'm getting pretty excited about this opportunity to drive empowerment in people and connecting the power and authority that we all have in our lives. And just remember that it all starts with the 4-step empowerment process. And that begins with you, of course, and knowing yourself. So if you're navigating through this world with empowerment, then you know you need to access the empowerment self-assessment right here on my site. Take the time to get to know yourself as step 1 in your empowerment journey. And then as you move throughout the world, remember that the other people in this world truly matter. And so knowing others is step 2. And that's where I want you to engage with my differences assessment. If you haven't had a chance to download the differences assessment, now's your chance. Go right on to my website, empoweringdifferences.com. Click the assessment tab, and there you will see the differences assessment that's going to help you to recognize whether you have privileges or disprivileges in relation to your existence in this world. I have to tell you, there is a lot of things happening, and it matters. The strategy matters. So download that differences assessment today and learn and grow through empowerment. The last thing you have to do is to take action. So together, I'm bringing together a group of amazing leadership and empowerment experts on a ship to have rising tides lift all boats. And what better way to do that by taking action and showcasing all of these empowering actions. Each speaker is going to focus on all the actions, but specialize around one of them that can truly make an impact for individuals. So here she is. I've teased long enough. It is a teaser, so there is that. But Martha's here. She's here. I told you she was.
I have arrived. I have arrived. Thank you so much for having me on this teaser. I feel honored to be a part of your mission here. This is just so exciting.
Yes.
So exciting.
So I'm gonna hide myself. I'm gonna go away for a moment because I want everyone to be able to focus on what it is that you do through your organization and get to learn you some more.
Great.
And
thank you.
Yeah, and I'm so excited. I really am. So thank you so much for joining and signing up and being a part of this conference, because it's going to be a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Absolutely.
All right.
So here we go. My name is Martha Forlines, and I am the president of Belief System Institute. I've had my own business for 15 years now. I can't believe that. But what I'm going to be contributing at the Voyage of Empowerment is a session on what are my leadership blind spots. In my business, I do leadership development and coaching, and working with leaders, most of them entrepreneurs, but some large corporations as well, helping them to identify what they really don't see in themselves. It's very common for all human beings to have blind spots. So what I do to help them is I use assessments like most coaches and people in the leadership development space. And I'm offering to everybody that is coming on the voyage a free emotional intelligence assessment. It's important to know thyself. That was Ashley's number one point that she shared with you when she kicked this off. And this is knowing your strengths, but also knowing your vulnerabilities, knowing your fears, and how do you handle yourself when you get in a state of fear or in a very highly stressed space, because normally that doesn't bring out the best in us, does it? So doing the emotional intelligence assessment will enable everybody that participates at the event to start understanding their strengths and their vulnerabilities. And in emotional intelligence, it's like one of the most powerful concepts since I have been in business. And even prior to that, in my corporate life, is really understanding the emotions that you're having in the moment at work or at home. It doesn't really matter, but really being able to know that you have been triggered by something somebody said to you. Now, what do you do next? Are you self aware enough to be able to rein your emotions in and be able to respond to the person without doing damage to the relationship? So, emotional intelligence includes 5 different domains, and I would like to go over those domains with you. The first one is self awareness. The second one is self regulation, and that is you being able to control that emotion that you may be having in that moment. And then the third one is motivation, and this is intrinsic motivation. Does your job keep you engaged and motivated day in and day out? And then the third one is social awareness, and that is being in relationships with others and being able to walk a mile in their shoes and show empathy for others that are struggling or are very different from you. And then the last one is social regulation. And this is using the power of your knowing your emotions to really be able to build a strong network and to have others that are a part of your posse, if you will, that you support one another. And Ashley, to me, that's one of the big things we're going to be able to do is build relationships on the voyage of empowerment that we take with us outside of that big old ship. So, but I'm very excited to introduce these concepts and offer this free emotional intelligence assessment to everybody so that they can see where they are in the continuum of emotional intelligence and where are the opportunities to develop. I do create for my clients development, very personalized development action plans. And these include, coming up with what are the areas for improvement that are most noticeable for you in your relationship with others. And then how do we create goals and development plans around that? So I'll be sharing that in my session as well. So I think it's going to be of great value. It's part of, in Ashley's model, it's part of the education and empowerment. But people won't be there unless they're wanting to grow and to really be better leaders once they walk off the voyage. So that's a very quick recap of what I'll be talking about. And it's going to be a wonderful event. I'm so excited to be a part of this in terms of we'll be together for 5 days, which you really can get to know people in a 5-day period in this type of environment. I've only been on a cruise ship one time before, and it's just a lot of togetherness, a lot of sharing time, and really sharing experiences that we've had and how can we learn from one another is just a huge part of what people stand to gain by joining us on the voyage of empowerment.
I'm excited.
So I know, I am thrilled. I'm very excited about all of this. And you've got some wonderful speakers. I know I've sat in on the teasers for about 3 of them so far, and they're just amazing. Amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was blown away about the people that were in my network that were interested in wanting to take part in such a journey.
Right.
I my meeting planner was like, Holly, I could see Holly on my shoulder. And Holly is like, you know, you need to have your own empowerment events. And I was like, okay. And then she said, well, where do you want to have it? And I said, I don't know. And she said, well, if you've ever thought about having an event, now's the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you think about industries that were impacted by COVID,
Right.
that industry
That is
got
one of them.
decimated. But then also, a lot of the work I do is about lifting up marginalized communities and people who are different.
Right.
Who's employed by the cruise line industry?
Marginalized.
It's marginalized people from around the world who don't have access to other things, and they get hired to live on these cruise ships, basically.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a lot of ethnically diverse people. It's a lot of LGBTQ plus people. It's a lot of people because that ship is a safe space for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's things that people probably didn't even think about in this world. But quickly, so if people are wanting to come, there's about 20 rooms left.
That is amazing.
Make your reservation now.
Wow.
And you don't have to pay for it, potentially.
Yeah.
You can potentially submit this to your manager. You can submit it to the company's leadership development person in the organization. You could write an email to the chief human resources officer at the company you work for.
Or the DEI leader.
Yes. You can send me an email. I'll send you the one pager that shows all the conference benefits, kind of like this.
Yeah.
Voila. That shows that it's an empowerment conference, all inclusive. You're going to have the hotel obviously covered. All your meals are covered, the port fees, the taxes, the tips, the gratuities, the internet, so you can stay connected in case you have important meetings that you can't miss for work.
Yeah.
And then you'll also have beverages, whether that be of the fun variety or the fun variety. And we're also going to do an empowerment excursion to a school in Cozumel, Mexico, where we're going to be giving empowered, treasured resources back to the community that need it.
Yeah.
So a full-scale immersive experience, 5 nights, balcony room or better. You're going to have the experience of a lifetime that's going to generate leadership and memories. You know, I think about being on the port the last time I was on a port in Thailand. Okay.
Oh, look at you.
And literally, I have that memory. It sits right here because memories and how we think of things is all about building authority for your life.
Yes. And I find those memories are great regrounding tools for people that are going through a process of change and a new job, a new promotion, big events like that. So it's just a wonderful opportunity for so many people 20 more people to hop on this ship.
Right. Yes. And if you are thinking about booking, I do have a coupon code. It's VOE100. You can use the link to go right on to the booking site through House Briscoe Cruises, which is a woman-owned business, by the way, in case you're wondering. I was very intentional.
Awesome. Yeah.
And House Briscoe Cruises is my booking agent, so they're going to be handling all the financial components. It's not going to be Ashley holding on to your money. Not that you can't trust me, but this way you know that there's a reputable organization that's partnering. It's Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. You can't go wrong. And we're gonna have a blast. We're gonna have a blast. I can't wait.
We are. Yeah.
So I know that we've been talking about a lot of things, and can you tell me a little bit more about the assessment? Because I know that that's a big part, and I want to make sure that people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, the assessment only takes maybe 20 to 30 minutes. So if people are worried about, oh, I hate these things, they take forever. Well, it really does not take that long. Actually, you took it. So, but what you get is a version of yourself that maybe you haven't seen before. around those 5 domains. And I think it's important to really understand that this is a representation of you. It's a snapshot of you right now. But remember, with emotional intelligence, you can grow and develop that muscle. With disc behaviors and driving forces and motivators, those are part of your hardwired DNA. But with the emotional intelligence, and the report is so robust, isn't it, Ashley?
Yeah.
And so you have a list. If your self-awareness is not where you want it to be, there's a list of 12 things you can immediately do to start developing your self-awareness. And the same goes through all the other domains. So you walk away from this really having a part of a plan in your mind. And then I'll walk you through how we actually put a structured development plan together in my session. So and then it's self accountability, which is really critically important. Self accountability is very, very important if you want to grow as a leader. And with all the other wonderful speakers that are going to be there and facilitators, I mean, everybody just needs to tap into everybody that's there and get as much out of each of us as you possibly can get for that 5-day period.
Yeah, it's going to be intense. I'm thinking about, the person who's navigating this, right? And I use the word navigating, right? Because it's like we're all on a journey together.
Yes, we are.
There's so many subliminal messages around having a conference on a cruise ship.
Yes.
Right? Voyage, navigation,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Your compass, the direction you go in your life, the tide, the rising tide.
The rising tides lift all boats. I love that one. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean, you knew I was going to have a lot of fun with this, right?
I know. Exactly.
But honestly, like the alliteration, the words matter. It matters.
They do.
And that's part of emotional intelligence, is how you communicate with other people in this world. It truly matters. And removing yourself from your day-to-day environment or your day-to-day leadership conference at the San Diego Hotel in San Diego. Literally.
Yeah.
You have to come outside that box, in essence. And that's where you'll find things.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess I have another question for you.
Okay.
So I know you see all the list of all the empowering actions. Which one is your favorite?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, empower is such a powerful word. And I think about it in terms of the business that I do every day, every week, every month with my clients is I'm really trying to empower them to own themselves and accept where they are at the given moment that I start working with them, knowing that I want to keep them motivated to keep moving forward, So empower is just like such a great word. I love it. And maybe that one's too easy, but it really is a very strong word. Yeah.
Yeah. So interesting enough, when I started this empowerment research, it was largely because I was needing self-empowerment coming from a negative 28 privilege position in society.
Yes.
Have you ever done the privilege exercise, right? Where you take, well, it was originally rooted at like, restoring connection. That's not good.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm back.
I lost you for a minute.
Yes, I think it was me.
Okay.
But we're still here. Yay.
Yeah.
The privilege exercise.
Yeah.
You move a step forward if you have a privilege, or you move back if you have a disadvantage.
Right.
Like, so have you ever wondered where your next meal would come from? Right. And
Right.
if that
Right.
never had to do that, then you would move forward. If you didn't, then you move back one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever done
Powerful.
this.
It's very powerful.
Yeah. Well, but the whole construct of that exercise is deeply rooted in privilege, right? Assuming that you can walk forward or walk backwards.
Yes. Yes.
But I've done this exercise in essence and seen, the big gap in an organization.
Yeah.
And it's shocking sometimes. So you have to have that self-evaluation to really do that.
Yeah.
It's just one of the things that I've noticed in my time as a leadership and empowerment expert.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going, but
No,
nonetheless,
that's great. Yeah.
yeah, it's there's just so much happening in this space. Yeah, so
Well,
there's a lot of
and I think that COVID really put a spotlight on leaders and emotional intelligence, because people's whole world changed in different degrees, I'm sure, for different people, because of they just perceive things differently. But I just think that the importance of being a good leader during times of great change has been absolutely in the spotlight, and people feel it, they know it, and they really want to strive to be better leaders than they've ever been before, because people had a tough time over the last 2.5 years and are still struggling.
And so speaking of that, can you talk a little bit about the leadership coaching that you do? Because I think coaching is really important.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love my coaching. And I really always start by meeting people exactly where they are. I think that if you go into it with anything other than that, then you're not going to build that trust as quickly as you need to build it. So really meeting them where they are, and no judgment about where they are. And really, I do an intake for my new clients, really trying to find out, okay, what were your greatest, or what have been your greatest accomplishments, and what were your epic fails. I need them to share all that with me, because that gives me tremendous insight into them. Are they humble enough to own their failures? And then how did they recover from those? And, we talk about their educational and experience backgrounds and things like that, just as a get to know icebreaker exercise. But then we dive into the assessments. And, I have 3 to 4 of them that I do, depending on where this person is and where they want to go. What are their aspirations as a leader? And then we break down, and I do 360 assessments. A lot of people cringe when they hear that, but they come up with their list of people they work the most with, including people above them, peer level, and subordinate employees. And they speak their truth to me. One of my clients I've been with for 7 years now, and they trust me and they tell me their truth when I'm doing these 360s. And then once I get all the data, I'm looking for trends in the data. And I only publish in the 360 report to the new coaching client the trended data, because that's only fair, right? I'm not going to pull one-offs and stick those in there. And then once we go through that, and sometimes it's more painstaking than not, depending on the receiver of the information, and they decide what they want to put in their development plan. Mm-hmm. I make recommendations, but I said, it is your choice. And then we co-create the development plan together. And they have skin in the game. And then once that is finalized and they're happy with it, then together we present it to their leader, because their leader has to be an advocate for them on the job and reinforce when they see they're building muscle where they need to, or where they're still stuck in maybe a bad behavior pattern or leader pattern that they want to break free of.
Yeah, it's interesting what you've hinted at, right? It goes for me based on my empowerment research.
Yes.
Empowerment was authority and power and then
Right.
connected to people. But the authority part are all of the humanistic elements that are incredibly hard to track.
Right.
So if you're ever afraid of doing a 360 review, then definitely they need to set up a meeting with you because if you're afraid of doing a 360 review, then that is exactly the reason you need to do a 360 review.
Exactly. I can't agree more.
How else can you ever know the authority part of empowerment for the people that you're connected to?
Right.
It's easy to track the power items in empowerment, right? Because you know exactly how much money someone gets paid. You know how many minutes, hours, and seconds that you have meetings with them. It's all tracked on the calendar this day and age.
Right.
You know all of those. You know exactly the P&L. You know the business wins. You know all of those things. Those are all the power bucket items. They're super easy to track.
Mm-hmm.
It's the authority. And that's why we're having this conference. It's about authority building for humans.
Right.
So yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, and those 360 results also bubble up those blind spots. A lot of people act like they're shocked and in shock and awe over it. And then, we back them up and say, well, okay, well, how do you think they came to that conclusion? Give me some, interactions you've had with any of these people that you can back into why that bubbled up as a trended thing to work on.
And my last question for you is, what is the most fun thing that you're looking forward to on the voyage of empowerment?
Oh, man. I tell you what, there is time for R&R, folks. I promise. There is time for R&R. So in the R&R, I have become quite the yogi over the last 5 years. And so I'm hoping to be able to find some yoga classes while I'm there, and then enjoy the sunny, wonderful weather for November for the places that we're going, and enjoy, being in the sunshine with all these new friends I'm going to make.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So we are also having mindful meditation sessions, a part of the conference.
Excellent.
That's being led
right up
by
my alley.
New York Times bestselling author Howard Ross.
Get out. Nice.
Yes. He's leading the daily mindfulness meditation sessions.
Oh, that is wonderful.
Yeah. So my favorite one is I'm going to do some sort of climbing adventure, because together we can do it. So I'm going to show a little clip of that. How about that? I have a video.
I'll be out there cheering you on.
Wait, here's my video. I have a video clip for that. Let me show it.
Oh, well, let's see.
The journey will be hard to travel up this hilltop, but together we can do it on the voyage of empowerment.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
The journey may be tough to travel, but together we can do
this. Yeah, the positivity is just oozing out of this teaser.
Well, I mean, but that's the authority part of empowerment. Yeah. It's about how you have confidence and frame things for your life.
Right.
You can't accomplish. You are always going to be the biggest barrier to everything that you see in the entire world that you want to grab.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so looking forward to this.
That's why we have to be there.
Yes, we do. Come join us.
Yes, so definitely come join us. If you have questions, I'm sure that you all know how to contact me. I'm super thrilled to partner with you, Martha. And
me too.
It's going to be amazing. You definitely don't want to miss it. And also, one more thing. I've gotten a lot of questions about passports. You don't technically have to have a passport to go on this, because a passport and a birth certificate in the US. So but passports are definitely recommended, especially if you're getting off the boat. But not required. So just throwing that one out there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But
we're going to remove all barriers, right?
Exactly. So, but yes, thank you so much for signing up and being a part of this and sponsoring the conference as well. It means so much
Oh,
to me.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm all in. That's how I do things.
Yes. All right. Well, we appreciate you all, and we look forward to introducing our next speaker next week. So if you haven't signed up for that one, make sure you sign up for that one where you can meet our presenting sponsor, Kelly and Wingit from Alternative Wealth Partners. So thank you
Excellent.
so much. Thank you, Martha. Thank you to everyone who
Thank you.
attended, and we will see you soon.